What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and with the release of Halloween Ends, it is now time to re-rank the Halloween franchise. So, of course, before we get into anything else here, I just want to make it 100% clear this is just my opinion. No matter what you say, you're going to have people that are going to agree, disagree, and that's fine. That's what the comments section is here for. It's open. I want to hear what you all think about the Halloween franchise as well. Please drop your Halloween rankings down below in the comments section. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my own personal new ranking of the 13 Halloween films. So, kicking things off with number 13, we are talking about Halloween Resurrection, coming in at the last place, dead last, 2002 film. The reason for me this one's dead last, of course, you guys know the film I'm talking about. Busta Rhymes, I don't know, some other people are in this movie. The one kid from American Pie, the other dude from Save the Last Dance, Tyra Banks. I don't know. It's just the movie. I kind of see what they were going for here with the whole Blair Witch meets, reality TV. It just didn't work for me. I can find a redeeming quality, at least one, about every single solitary film in this franchise, with the exception of Halloween Resurrection. It's garbage. The less said, the better. It's at number 13. Number 12, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, released in 1989, starring Danielle Harris, Don Shanks, Donald Pleasance. As far as like the old school OG Halloweens go for me, this one definitely is the least effective. There's definitely some nostalgia points there, I guess, that kind of keep it from being in dead last. But like I said, there are even a few redeeming qualities about this film that I still kind of enjoy. But once again, it's better than Halloween Resurrection. I know, low bars. You deal with Ellie Cornell's character dying in the first act. You deal with these Bulk and Skull-esque cops. Wendy Kaplan's Tina, absolutely atrocious. Once again, the less said, the better. Not a big fan of this one either. That's why it's at number 12. So number 11 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, released in 2009, of course starring Scout Taylor Compton, Danielle Harris, Malcolm McDowell. And here's the thing about this one. Like I said, I can find at least one redeeming quality in the worst Halloween films, with the exception of Resurrection. And this one, for me, even though I'm not a huge fan of this film, I think the death of Annie's character and Brackett's, scene finding her. Brad Dourif is an amazing actor, very underrated, and he really made me feel Annie Brackett's death scene the way I've never felt another character death in the entire franchise. And for me, that keeps it away from the bottom and bumps it up a couple of spots here at number 11. Number 10, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, released in 1995. It's got Ant-Man in it and a bunch of other people, aside from Donald Pleasance, that I'm not interested in enough to even remember their names currently. Now see, the reason I think this one is a little bit higher up than some of the other ones on the list is because, quite frankly, this was the most recent Halloween film released at the time where I became a horror fan, where I became a Halloween fan. So I did watch this one a great deal, but in the end, let's be honest, it's a mess of a film. There's two cuts of it. Neither one of them really give you the story in a satisfactory manner. So I think nostalgia points really kick this one up to number 10, but other than that, it really is a mess of a film. Coming in at number 9 is Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007. I kind of respect giving us a little bit more, kind of making it half prequel, half remake, giving us a little bit more of Michael's background. I just really don't like how it was done. I respect the attempt to do it, but the way it turned out, it doesn't work for me. I guess it's a decent enough film, kind of landing somewhere along the middle of this ranking, but it's just... It's I don't know, I never really felt like Rob Zombie was really the guy to take the reins of the Halloween franchise. He ended up kind of making it more like a Jason thing, making him big and bulking, giving him mommy issues, but we don't get that until the sequel. That's why that one's ranked a little bit lower. But yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween coming in at number 9. So at number 8, it is one of the most unique films in the entire franchise. Of course, I'm talking about Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, released in 1982. And a lot of people really just absolutely despise this thing. It falls around dead center for me because I actually really enjoy this movie. I think that obviously it's not a Halloween film in that classical sense. No Michael Myers, no Haddonfield, no Laurie, no Loomis, things of this nature. A lot of key elements are missing, sure, but it's supposed to be the beginning of something different. And to be honest with you, if this film wasn't called Halloween 3, if this was just released as Season of the Witch, I don't think anybody would have any issues with this film whatsoever, because on its own merits, it's really good, actually. So coming in at number 7, I've got Halloween H2O, 20 years later, released in 1998. Course, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, LL Cool J, Josh Hartnett, and a slew of others. This one kind of lands once again amongst the almost dead center for me here in this franchise. I really did enjoy it. I think some of the things that Resurrection did with its intro took away from how awesome and impactful that ending of Halloween H2O really truly is. And I really would have preferred to see someone else under the mask playing Michael Myers in this thing. I felt like his movements were all off. I felt like Chris Duran really didn't understand the character. But other than that, it's actually a really serviceable, really entertaining Halloween film. I call it Hallow Scream for obvious reasons. The score is borrowed from Scream. You got Kevin Williamson doing some of the writing uncredited. But overall, I love Scream. And this one is the Halloween Scream for me, so I enjoy it. Coming in at number 6 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, released in 1988, obviously starring Danielle Harris, Ellie Cornell, Donald Pleasance. Just a really solid sequel and a really good way of getting back into the Michael Myers story after 10 years have passed since the original, since the release of Halloween 3, where they tried to do something a bit different, didn't really pay off. This one's just a really solid sequel all the way through. I think really the only parts about this film that I really don't like is Michael's look. The mask, I'm not a big fan of. The padding of the jumpsuit that he's wearing, I'm just not a big fan of Michael's look in this film overall. But I mean, as far as sequels go, this thing is absolutely excellent, well done. One of, like I said, coming in at number 6 here out of a 13 film franchise, it's got to do something right. So yeah, really enjoyed Halloween 4, one of the better sequels, and that's why it's at number 6. So moving into number 5 here, I got a feeling some people are going to be pissed off about this one. Number 5 is 2021's Halloween Kills. Now, a lot of people absolutely detest this film. I'm not really quite sure why. It is everything I really wanted from a Michael Myers film, especially at that juncture in the franchise. I mean, you've got a absolutely balls to the walls slasher flick, and that's absolutely what Halloween Kills is and was. I enjoy it. I know a lot of people get pissed off and tired of the whole Evil Dies Tonight thing. Really didn't bother me as much as it did everybody else apparently, but I absolutely love the kills in this movie. The brutality, the gore really puts Michael over the top in a way that no other film has, in my opinion, and I absolutely enjoy it. Coming in at number 4, if you're not pissed by now with that last entry, or some of the other ones, maybe some of your favorites are down too low, you're really going to hate this one. So coming in at number 4 is Halloween Ends, released this year in 2022. And yes, I can feel the hate comments already coming my way. I really liked Halloween Ends. I thought that it was kind of like what they were trying to do with Season of the Witch, giving us something different yet familiar, with more familiar here. At least they're keeping Michael Myers, Laurie, Haddonfield, some of what these stories have to do with, but at the same time making it something completely different, completely out of left field, and in my opinion, very refreshing. I love the ending to this movie. I love the story behind this movie. There's a lot of layers in this thing to pull back and examine, and it makes for a really interesting film. Now granted, it's the newest one here. I guess over time, maybe its placement could change, but as it stands right now, I've got it at number 4, Halloween Ends. So coming in at number 3 is Halloween 2018, the first of the David Gordon Green trilogy. Generally speaking, a lot of people were divided on Kills, even more divided on Ends, but I think most people, especially fans of Halloween, horror fans, and even just moviegoers in general, really enjoyed Halloween 2018. It's in a lot of ways, it's kind of got that Star Wars Episode 7 feel, where it's kind of, in a lot of ways, a loose remake of the original, but it is a sequel, a legacy sequel, whatever terminology you want to use. It is indeed a sequel, but it does feel in a lot of ways about as close to a remake as you can get without being a remake. And I thought this was an amazing film. We had to wait freaking 9 years to get this thing after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and I think it was definitely worth the wait. I thoroughly enjoy it. One of the absolute best sequels in my opinion, and that is why it is at number 3. So coming in at number 2 is Halloween 2, the 1981 variation, not that Rob Zombie thing that he made. It's the first sequel. I feel like it's the closest we kind of ever really get to that feeling of the original 1978 film. And once again, there's nostalgia that plays a factor in this. Even John Carpenter himself absolutely hates this movie. But for my money, it's the closest that you're going to get to that original. Is it as good as the original? No, or else it'd be in the top spot. Wink, wink. I think you know what number 1 is. But it is very enjoyable. Probably the most watched sequel for me out of the entire franchise. And it kind of, in a lot of ways, feels like Halloween Kills to me, which I also really enjoyed. But I think it was done a little bit better. And once again, I think it has a lot more to do with the feeling of the original film. And, it has a lot to do with the time period in which it was filmed, obviously being closest to that original film, using that original mask, even though it had kind of deteriorated in real life over the years. But it's just a really fun movie. And like I said, if anything that can get me close to that feeling of the original, hey, that's fine by me. So coming in at number 1, if it's any surprise, it shouldn't be. Every time I rank these films when a new Halloween comes out, this number 1 position never changes. I don't think it ever will. Not only because this is my favorite Halloween film, this is my favorite movie of all time. I'm talking, of course, about John Carpenter's Halloween, released in 1978, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Soles, Nancy Loomis, Donald Pleasance. Just an amazing film. Perfect film for my money. Laid the blueprint down for the modern American slasher. And if it wasn't for this movie, I wouldn't have a lot of the other films that I so enjoy, like Scream, for example. So for me, this is the end-all be-all for the horror genre, for the slasher subgenre, for the Halloween franchise. This is the end-all be-all. My number 1 favorite in the entire franchise, shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, is the original John Carpenter's Halloween in 1978. So, there we go, folks. All 13 films ranked. Finally got through this. It becomes increasingly more difficult with every installment that comes out. Just having so many different things to contend with. But there it is. And like I said at the top of the video, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Drop me your Halloween franchise rankings now that we have 13. It's kind of interesting that Michael made it to 13 films before Jason, but the American court systems have a lot to do with that. Kind of the only enemy Jason has yet to be able to vanquish. So yeah, there it is. Let me know your comments down below. Let me know your rankings in the comments section. Check the description before you leave here today. A couple of links to support this channel. Follow me on Twitter, and leave it a like on your way out. And if you haven't subscribed, if you like horror, that's what we do here at Bloody Breakdown, so you'll enjoy the content. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a like, folks. I'm Bran, and this has been my Halloween ranking.